This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
Well, much like a certain hotel chain, we have been seeing all 4 seasons here in Central Virginia this weekend. We've had mornings that felt like winter, days that feel like spring, and evenings that feel like fall. Today, bust out the sleeveless shirts and flip-flops because it's gonna almost feel like summertime. Hey, it is the 28th day of March. I'm Greg McQuaid, filling in for Cam Thompson. Thanks so much.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. I heard Cam did a great job while I was gone.
Yes, and they were wondering, do you know if I was going to give you any slams or insult you while you were gone? I was like, no, because I have some time off in May, and I know payback is it's coming.
Oh, that's for sure. It's coming. But I missed you.
Missed you too.
Did you get my postcard?
No, I haven't checked the mail yet.
Okay. Well, please do. Mike, tell us about today, my man.
Well, you know what? Yesterday we made it up into the upper 70s. Today we're going to be about 5 to 10 degrees warmer.
Warmer?
Yeah, in fact, we're going to have some of our warmest weather since early November. So outside currently, that's how it looks over the diamond now. We're having just a few clouds overhead. Our sunrise this morning, and check this out, it's 6:59. It's our first sunrise before 7 a.m. in a while. Set tonight at 7:30. These are the current temperatures. We have a spot or two in the 50s, but most of us now are between about 60 and 64 degrees. And versus this time yesterday, we're up a good at least 10 to 15 degrees, if not 20 or more in some locations. We do have some clouds across the area. There are some radar returns. This stuff's not reaching the ground, but some occasional cloudiness will filter on in during the day today. So we'll have some sunshine, but we'll have some mostly cloudy hours in there as well. But look at this, by noontime, already cracking 70 degrees. In fact, could be upper 70s by noontime, and a high this afternoon of 84 degrees. There will be a gusty southwesterly wind, so we do have an increased risk of fire danger again today. We continue to watch the warm weather coming in from the south. There are some showers here off towards the west. A few of those may impact us tomorrow, but there's a pretty decent chance we could have some strong to severe thunderstorms on Monday. We'll take you through that in just a little bit. Gregory.
All right, Michael, thanks so much. It is 6:02 right now. How should your tax dollars be spent if you live in the city of Richmond? On Thursday, Mayor Danny Avula presented his proposed budget plans to City Council. Maggie Marshall has more on what's in them.
$3 billion budget that reflects our shared priorities.
The proposed $3 billion budget matches last year's figures, but creating it involved overcoming several challenges.
Our budget is always limited by the city's geographic and historic challenges. But this year, we are building the budget at a time when we as a city face rising costs, and there's a very uncertain federal landscape. In fact, as recently as February, we faced a $50 million budget gap between projected revenues and expenses, which is almost 5% of our total operating budget.
The mayor's plan emphasizes investments in City Hall, schools, and neighborhoods. He proposes adding a position for performance management and giving employees a 3.5% raise. He also included an additional $18.6 million for staff and improvements to the finance department and 311 services.
We've invested in staff by transitioning to the Virginia retirement system, requiring living wages, engaging with organized labor, and improving our benefit packages.
For neighborhoods, Avula is proposing a $50 million investment in housing, $300,000 for the Trauma Healing Response Network, and funding for 60 new police officers with increased compensation.
This budget increases compensation for our sworn personnel in the Richmond Police and Fire Departments by an average of 10.3%. That brings us above the regional average of compensation, and it keeps Richmond as an employer of choice.
Regarding schools, he has increased funding for Richmond Public Schools by $10 million from last year, though it still falls $22 million short of their proposed budget.
I know that the need is far greater, and I will do everything I can to advocate for more at the state and federal levels.
Superintendent Jason Cameras released a statement saying in part that they understand the city is facing a tough budget year, and they sincerely appreciate the addition of $10 million in a time when many departments and partners face cuts. However, right now it falls short of what their children need and deserve, and it jeopardizes the progress they've made and their children's future. The city is accelerating spending $38 million in the following years to improve the water infrastructure amid the recent issues at the water plant. The budget also includes a planned $12 monthly increase in water, wastewater, and gas rates, along with cuts to nonprofit funding.
That financial support has grown over time, reaching over $13 million in the current fiscal year. And in this fiscal climate, that level of funding is simply not sustainable.
Mayor Wool also highlighted the importance of economic development to grow Richmond's tax base. City Council will now hold public hearings in the coming weeks for citizens to give their input, and then they'll make changes before they vote on a final budget by the end of May. In Richmond, I'm Maggie Marshall, CBS 6 News.
A Wakefield family offering a $50,000 reward for information about a deadly home invasion that killed a loved one 2 years ago. Judy Baldwin was 75 years old when two men broke into her husband's home on the night of October 24, 2023. She was shot at point-blank range. Her husband shot twice and survived. To get the answers and an arrest and conviction, the family has put up a billboard on Route 460 in the town of Wakefield.
We put up a billboard so people could see, and maybe it would trigger somebody's memory.
And every time I look at that billboard and see your face, I want to cry.
Anyone with information about this case is asked to call the Sussex County Sheriff's Office. It's been 50 years since the Vietnam War ended, when North Vietnamese troops took control of Saigon in April of 1975. The nearly 20-year conflict came to a close then. Today, Vietnam Veterans Day, and on Friday, veterans were recognized at the Virginia War Memorial. Cameron Thompson was there and shares their voices.
What I saw over there was disillusioning, very disillusioning.
One by one,
my first firefight came inside of 2 weeks' time. Got wounded several times.
And story by story.
We were proud to have served. We did a lot to take care of those who could not care for themselves.
Vietnam veterans share their memories at the Virginia War Memorial Friday during a ceremony honoring those who served.
It was an experience of a lifetime, and I made many friends there in Vietnam. And during my 11 months, 23-day tour of Vietnam, I also lost 6 friends.
The service, a lead into National Vietnam War Veterans Day on Saturday, with this year's commemoration coming 50 years after it ended. The nearly 20-year war killed over 58,000 Americans and over 1,400 Virginians, whose names are etched into the memorial's Shrine of Memory.
Robert Roy Greenwood.
45 Virginians were also unaccounted for from the war.
Charles Carroll Parrish.
And their names were written inside the memorial and read out during the service.
When you remember, you do two things simultaneously. You remember who came before you, and you experience belonging.
So then the carrier cut the can in two, and we lost 74 sailors.
Among those who died are ones Johnny Livingston served with in the Navy, who he says were killed during a training exercise. Livingston says he came to pay his respects and hopes future generations will be taught about what they went through.
So I think they ought to pay more attention to the people that keep this country afloat.
Some veterans also spoke of the treatment they received from protesters when returning home. Johnny Oliverio says he was one of those protesters, but was angry at the poor equipment soldiers were given, which he blamed for the deaths of 2 friends.
Many of us were protesting for the boys that we loved and we went to grade school with. You know.
What's your name?
The service ended with a nod to that treatment, as several veterans were given commemorative pins from active duty members from Fort Gregg Adams, with tradition dictating they be told the welcome home some never got.
The idea is great. It's really great.
Thank you for yours today.
And on Saturday, the Virginia War Memorial will be holding an open house where people can come learn more about the Vietnam War through their videos and exhibits, and get tours from people who served in the war themselves. In Richmond, Cameron Thompson, CBS 6 News.
6:09 right now. Meanwhile, about 1,000 miles away from Saigon, Myanmar picking up the pieces after an absolutely devastating earthquake there. We'll tell you the latest information we're learning from leaders on the ground. Hello, Mike Stone.
Hello, Greg. Our normal high is 64 degrees. We're at 62 right now, and we're heading up into the low to mid 80s today. We are tracking some showers and thunderstorms in our 7-day forecast, so we'll chat about that after the break.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. Grab the beads. We're going down to Nolens, Louisiana. That's where the party never stops right there. Come on back. It's going to be a party in the weather center. Always is with Mike Stone, but he's got some great information if you like warm weather. At Forecast after the break. At least 1,000 people are dead after a 7.7 magnitude earthquake struck near Mandalay in Myanmar and Iraq neighboring Thailand Friday. The U.S. Geological Survey estimates that death toll could top 10,000 people.
Quake was the largest hit in Myanmar in more than a century, and it triggered the collapse of buildings hundreds of miles away, with at least 10 people dying in Bangkok, and they continue to be on the lookout for aftershocks there.
Yeah, several aftershocks after the major 7.7. We'll be monitoring that story out of Myanmar all morning long. But on the bright side of things here in the 8:04, Mike, boy, the weather is going to be looking up.
It is. Yesterday made up to 78 degrees. Today we're going to crack 80 in much of the area. And look at the center part of the screen there. We have a plane taking off there at Richmond International Airport. For our day today, it is going to be very warm. It's going to be even warmer than it was yesterday. In fact, as of right now, it's 62 degrees at the airport. Winds are out of the southwest at 10, and that southwesterly wind is going to blow in that warmer air today. It's 58 over in Lynchburg. The rest of us, though, are in the low to mid to even some upper 60s right now. And as we widen the picture, there's a warm front well to our north, and the south to southwesterly wind flow is going to continue to bring in that warm air today, tomorrow, and Monday. There's a cold front there west of Kansas City. That's not going to get here until late Monday. So in the meantime, temperatures are significantly warmer than this point yesterday. With the warm air, though, comes some moisture in the form of some cloud cover. You notice even a few radar returns. These aren't reaching the ground. The lower atmosphere is pretty dry. But for the day today, we will have some sunshine, but we'll kind of cloud over occasionally. So skies will average partly to mostly cloudy during our day today. But even with the cloud cover, we're forecasting a high of 84 degrees today. It's 20 degrees above the normal, 64, 10 degrees shy of the record from 1907. That was 94. You remember that, Greg, don't you? That's the warmest temperature we've had since November the 7th. And if by some chance we don't have a ton of cloud cover today and we crack 85, that'll be the warmest day since the end of September. So we have an increased risk of fire danger again today. The gusty winds over 25 miles an hour, the dry ground and the dry air. For this afternoon, we're going to have the relative humidity about 30% or less, so that will cause any sparks or fires to spread pretty rapidly. But look as we animate hour by hour through the day today, occasional cloud cover, but low and mid 80s across central Virginia, some 70s near the coast. And we'll have some clouds around this evening, and tomorrow kind of the same deal, partly to mostly cloudy. We'll start off in the 60s. Some sunshine breaking in every now and then. There will be the chance of a couple showers mostly west of I-95 later on the day, and highs will still be well into the 70s. A slightly better chance of a few showers tomorrow evening, but we're watching a cold front, which will bring us a pretty good chance for showers and thunderstorms late Monday afternoon into Monday evening. And some of those storms could be strong to severe. In fact, the entire Commonwealth outlooked with a slight risk for some severe storms, damaging wind gusts, and some large hail will be possible. 84 today, still close to 80 tomorrow. And then we're looking at a high of 81 on Monday with that severe storm threat. Bit cooler on Tuesday, 62. Our coldest night will be Tuesday night and Wednesday morning. But then look at that. We're right back into the low 80s later this week with a slight chance of a shower or two. Greg.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. At 6:15, one of the River City's most beloved events back in full swing. Ahead in the A-list, Antoinette takes us behind the scenes to GalaxyCon, and including some of the stars making a cameo. You want to hear that list coming up right after the break. 18 after the top of the hour, GalaxyCon is back at the Greater Richmond Convention Center. Celebrities and fans alike feeling the bond the way they only can at the con. And Antoinette Essa has a special preview.
When we first start, when we typically come into a city, we'll start with about 10 to 15,000 people. Last year we had 32,500 people, and now we're pushing close to 40,000, so we keep on scaling it up.
And with those huge numbers, GalaxyCon's spring edition has taken over the Richmond Convention Center. Peter Katz is the senior vice president.
It's the best. So we have close to about 100 celebrities that are on the floor. They all interact with each other. Each one is there to be able to meet with the fans. They do photo ops and autographs, and then they all do Q&As. We start early. We start about 10 o'clock in the morning. We go to 2 o'clock in the morning.
Now, let's check out the celebrity lineup.
Mr. William Shatner!
Something for our Star Trek fans. That's why we have William Shatner and other people from Star Trek.
Wow. Whoa, that's a lot of people. Everybody in Richmond is here.
Voice actors and anime is very big, so we have that. And then we put together some fun reunions at each show. So this is a big one. We're doing a little West Wing reunion where we have Martin Sheen and a couple cast members from there.
And that's not all. GalaxyCon has more to offer.
So we got Weird Al Yankovic coming in, so that's a great one. We have the cast of Reno 911, so a lot of fans there. Twilight, so for all those Twilight fans that are out there, we have them. So it's really something for everybody there.
Including something for all you NSYNC and wrestling fans.
We have Joey Fatone coming. We have wrestlers that come in. So Ric Flair, woo! Ric Flair will be here. So we have all that going on.
Is there anyone that you get excited over seeing?
I do. So I'm a nostalgia guy. So I'm very excited about Martin Sheen. Yeah, I mean that's you know, and not just from his older stuff, but I was a Grace and Frankie fan, so I like to see him.
But wait, there's more. There are costume contests, shopping, and after-dark events.
We have Rocky Horror, we do a shadow cast, and we have Barry Bostwick, who played Brad. Something called Wrestle a Go-Go, which is wrestling and burlesque. We have some nerd-less burlesque shows, so 18 plus, very tasteful and just a lot of fun.
This year, organizers have made it a bit easier to help fans avoid those long lines, including closing Marshall Street through Sunday.
We're doing early badge pickup on Wednesday night, so people can come in and get their badges because that slows it down. We're also doing an early badge pickup not only here on Wednesday night, but at Dave & Buster's, so people can go there, which is good.
And to make things even easier, Marshall Street will be closed off Friday through Sunday.
And then also on our end, we'll put more technology out there, more staffing out there, because we don't want people waiting out there. We need them coming in having fun.
GalaxyCon runs through Sunday at the Greater Richmond Convention Center with some gaming events at the Marriott and the Hilton hotels. If you'd like more information on GalaxyCon, just visit our website. That's WTVR.com. Antoinette Dessa at the Convention Center, CBS 6 News.
Thanks, Antoinette. 622, going to be a great weekend for the con. In fact, we have a few clouds overhead right now. We have temperatures currently in the low to mid 60s, but we're heading up into the low and mid 80s today. It'll be cloudy from time to time, a little bit of sun there and breezy. 62 tonight, 79 tomorrow. Slight chance of a shower, mostly west of I-95. The best chance of a shower is late in the day. We have a good chance of showers and thunderstorms late on Monday. Late in the afternoon into the evening, high back up to around 80 degrees. Could have some severe thunderstorms there. Briefly, a little bit cooler Tuesday into Tuesday night, but then we're right back up into the low 80s later this week with just a slight rain chance. And don't forget, the Squirrels home opener is on Friday. Very excited about all the celebrities in town. I believe Mr. William Shatner just turned 94. He, on his worst day, looks better than us on our best day combined.
Oh, absolutely. We need a lot more work than to look as good as him. He might be watching today. Who knows? Please?
CBS 6 Sports, sponsored by Toyota.
We begin this morning with college football. The third week of spring practices officially wrapped up for UVA Friday afternoon, and for the third straight season, the Hoos will have a new quarterback under center. The question is, who will it be? Either Chandler Morris, who threw for nearly 3,800 yards and 31 touchdowns at North Texas last season, or Daniel Kalen, UVA's first commit in the portal this year from Nebraska. Unfortunately, Tony Elliott is still leaving that one unanswered, as he is hoping to use the spring to get both of his signal callers acclimated.
I wouldn't say that we've had separation just because we had our first controlled scrimmage on Saturday, and we're going to have some more open scrimmages where we'll be able to get off the field and let them go play. So down the stretch here over the next 2 weeks will really be, a high level of evaluation. Now that we've gotten through the install phases, we got the system, as much of the system in that we want to have in.
Spring practice is also in full swing at Virginia Tech, with several new faces in Blacksburg, along with some familiar names and new roles, such as the case with former Holland Springs standout Kelvin Gilliam. Back for his second season with Tech, Gilliam stood out this offseason so much that he was given the honor of carrying the famous lunch pail during camp, a sign that he has become one of the leaders in the locker room for a team that is trying to rebound from 2 straight 6-win seasons.
I was presented with, I think, the meeting before the first day of practice and stuff, and it just gave me a responsibility and stuff that, whatever happens on this field, I'm responsible for it. Whether it's a lack of effort, a lack of us not, bringing energy or something, the practice flow and stuff, I'm responsible for that stuff. So.
Turning now to soccer, Richmond returns to the pitch later tonight in search of their second win in a row as they host Forward Madison FC. Their rivalry has been so intense over the years that two fans of the respective teams created a nickname for it, the Henny Derby. Richmond lost the season series last year and are determined to win it and the trophy that goes with it, but more importantly, continue to improve in the league against one of their arch rivals.
So one, it's another league game that we need points out of, and we know that. I mean, that's the starting point. But two, there's an added incentive to two supporter groups, two good guys put together a trophy, and anytime you're competing for a trophy, it's a good thing. So, of course, we want to keep that Henny trophy here.
And we finish up with some coaching news, and for once this week it involves one that's not leaving anytime soon. Norfolk State's Robert Jones has agreed to a new contract extension that will keep him as the Spartans' head man through the 2031-32 season. The team finished 24-11 this year, their fourth straight season with at least 22 wins, and their third MEAC tournament title in the last 5 with an NCAA tournament appearance attached to it. Jones has 236 wins in his career, the second most in program history, and 3 MEAC Coach of the Year awards. That's the latest from the Toyota Sports Desk.
This is CBS 6 This Morning Weekend.
We're learning more about alleged texts between two nurses at the Colonial Heights Rehab and Nursing Center, what they're revealing and how the facility is responding. He is not letting any setback stop him from creating his vision on canvas. We'll preview my latest I Have a Story where a double amputee continues to find inspiration in his art. And remember when it got around freezing a little earlier this week? Well, that's not quite how it's going to be today. Michael Meryl Streep Stone will tell us what you need to be ready for as you step out the door. Welcome back to CBS 6 Saturday morning. Another New Jersey figure, just like you. Meryl Streep.
Meryl Streep?
Oh, yeah.
We have a lot in common.
The list is long.
She's very talented at what she does, and we're both from New Jersey.
Hey, great to see you, man. I missed you last week.
Welcome back from vacation.
Thank you.
Got some really warm weather for you today. Yesterday it wasn't bad at all. Got up to 78. Today it's going to be even warmer than that. Let's go over to the Diamond, where a week from yesterday is opening day, coming up this Friday, April 4th. So we'll be talking more about that over the next few days. We have some cloud cover across the region right now, but temperatures are nice and warm. In fact, we have some temps right now in the low to mid 60s across the region, and versus this time yesterday, temperatures up at least about 10, if not 20 or more degrees than this point yesterday. We do have some cloud cover across the region. You notice even a few radar returns there off towards the north and west. That stuff's not reaching the ground, but just showing you this because we'll occasionally have some cloud cover today. There will be some sun in there, but there will be some mostly cloudy hours as well. But even with the clouds, a good south to southwesterly wind, it'll boost temperatures to near or above 80 for most locations away from the coast today. And even this evening, temperatures only dropping down through the 70s. We'll have overnight lows tonight in the low to mid 60s. There could be a shower in a spot or two tomorrow, but on Monday, we actually have a pretty decent chance for seeing some strong to severe thunderstorms. So we're going to talk more about that in our 7-day forecast coming up in just a little bit. Greg.
Michael, thanks. 6:32, new details emerging about alleged communications between two nurses from the Colonial Heights Rehab and Nursing Center, and some of them are allegedly related to the victim in a criminal case. Melissa Hippolyte shows us those text messages.
Inside 3 search warrants filed in Colonial Heights Circuit Court on March 19th and March 25th, details about alleged text communications between 2 LPNs at the Colonial Heights Rehabilitation and Nursing Center. One of the 2 has been charged with abuse of a vulnerable adult resulting in death. The other had their falsifying patient records charge dismissed on Wednesday. According to the search warrants, Nurse 1 spoke about, quote, removing 15 Zofran pills from the medication cart within the facility for Nurse 2 and leaving them in her personal car for that nurse to pick up due to being sick. Zofran is an anti-nausea medication that requires a prescription. In the same message chain, Nurse 2 sent a message to Nurse 1 about administering medications to patients and stated, quote, been done. The people that can't talk didn't get expletive, so it was easy. Nurse 1 replied, quote, expletive. I do the same thing sometimes. They gonna be okay. And the ones who miserable get melatonin and Tylenol. Nurse 2 also asked Nurse 1 why they did not check on her to see if she was safe. And Nurse 1 said, quote, to be honest, I did not think much about it. I just thought it's something you always do. And Nurse 2 replied, quote, it is, but it's still risky coming back with pounds of drugs. In another text conversation, Nurse 2 told Nurse 1, quote, don't let that naughty head pepper and garlic smelling boiled egg with leg-shaped expletive get to you. Nurse 1 replies with laughing faces, and Nurse 2 says, quote, send the picture. Nurse 1 responds with a picture of a resident's COVID order placed in the charting system by the facility's medical director. That resident is at the center of the criminal case who prosecutors allege received inadequate care, which led to wounds and ultimately her death. And that's who the detective who filed the search warrant wrote that text was about. Now, according to the search warrants, the nurses also discussed that patients needed to be moved to different rooms because they were, quote, beefing, but tell each other to note that there were, quote, no issues in the charts. The search warrant also alleges that documents have been provided to the lead investigator and a nurse investigator with the state attorney general's office that show residents are being billed for services daily. However, the residents were not actually being seen and the care was charted as being done, but it was not. It states that, quote, through a joint investigation with other agencies, the money billed through Medicare and Medicaid has a possible nexus to money laundering and or wire fraud and kickbacks for fraudulent services not rendered. On Wednesday, the Commonwealth's attorney for Colonial Heights, Gray Collins, told us that more severe charges are coming and that investigators have uncovered more victims. Now, we asked a spokesperson for Colonial Heights Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, Mindy Barnett, for a response to what we uncovered in these search warrants, and she sent us a statement that reads in part, the unsuccessful attempts by the prosecution are repeated measures of malicious slander to Colonial Heights Rehabilitation and Nursing Center, which does not constitute news. The sole case tried resulted in the charges being dismissed at the conclusion of the Commonwealth's case. I'm Melissa Hippolyte for CBS 6.
.636 right now. This guy right over here, a man from Gloucester, is choosing to see the sunnier side of life despite being dealt one big obstacle after another after another. In a preview of my latest I Have a Story, I want to introduce you to the artist who has strangers lining up to get a piece of his positivity to hang on their wall. At the age of 21, this man, Chuck Dickerson, lost both arms when he touched a live power line. It took nearly 3 years of surgeries and hospital stays to recover. 34 years later, Chuck following his passion. It's painting, and the 56-year-old studio is the Walmart parking lot in Gloucester. The artist paints at the spot for hours every single day. His seascape and nature scenes sell even before the paint dries. Chuck says creating art is his salvation. Even though he has lost so much, Chuck says he is rich beyond measure in so many other ways.
I feel as though I have a purpose to complete in life still. It's contagious. That happiness, you're smiling, then the person beside you is going to smile. And that's what I want to do. I want to make everybody in the world smile.
You have to see his story coming up in my I Have a Story. Meet the artist and double amputee who pours his soul into every brushstroke. Find out how losing his arms may not be Chuck's biggest obstacle he has been overcoming the last couple of years. That story ahead in our next hour. Look up in the sky. It is a bird. It is a plane. No, it is the moon moving between the sun and Earth. We'll have more details about this morning's, well, let's say partial solar eclipse. Mike Stone, how's our weather looking, my friend?
Well, Greg, we have a mild morning and we're in the 60s right now. It's going to be a great day for golf. In fact, it is going to be warm and a bit breezy today. We're tracking some rain, though, in the 7-day forecast, so we'll chat about that, and also when it's going to cool back down coming up next.
All right, Mike Stone, we are going out to the West Coast right now, courtesy of our KGO out there. That is the Bay Bridge connecting Oaktown with San Francisco. Light on the traffic today, but that's going to change. Our weather's looking good. Mike has the forecast after this. A partial solar eclipse visible in parts of the northeastern United States and Canada this morning, home of Cam Thompson, by the way. This latest eclipse will be visible until almost 9 a.m.
Bad news is that we will not be able to see the partial eclipse here in Virginia. NASA says it'll only be visible as far south as Washington, D.C., and only 1% of the eclipse will be visible. And that's only going to be for a short window there between 6:59 and 7:01 a.m.
So that means if we get in the car right now and drive like you up to D.C.
Yeah, we'll be there in 12 minutes.
maybe. It is GalaxyCon time. All right, Mike, tell us more.
But as you know, Bonnie Tyler wrote Total Partial Eclipse of the Sun.
Partial Eclipse
it was something
of the
like
Sun.
Turnaround.
I had that 45.
So did I. But hey, up in Boston, about 50 to 60% of the sun will be covered, and close to 80 in northern New England.
Whoa.
So, but you see, there's the 5% line well east of us. But I tell you what.
Talk to me.
That goes by this morning, and then we focus on this. How many days until opening day? 6. So this upcoming Friday, opening day at the Diamond. Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. There you go. And so we're actually going to have some warm weather coming up for this upcoming Friday. It's going to be warm today, too. Our normal high is 64 degrees. We're going to be around 84 today, so shy of the record of 94 set back in 1907. Sunrises this morning at 1 minute before 7 a.m., and we will now have sunrises before 7 a.m. until late September. The sun sets tonight at 7:30. Pollen count continues to rage out of control with tree pollen. High values of that again today, and the gusty winds today are not going to help that at all. Temperatures across the region now, it's 58 in Lynchburg, 59 in Emporia. The rest of us are in the low to mid to upper 60s. That south to southwesterly wind will continue bringing in that warmer air, and it'll actually start to bring in some slightly more humidity, but the air is still going to be dry for the afternoon, considering how warm the temperatures are going to get. For right now, we're anywhere about 10, 20 degrees warmer than this point yesterday for much of the area, even a little bit warmer across northern Virginia. Some cloud cover right now. These radar returns aren't reaching the ground, so no worries about that. But we'll have some occasional cloudiness across the area today, and there's a lot of wildfire smoke across the deep south, and that southerly wind will bring the smoke up into our area. Not at ground level. It's not going to cause any air quality issues, but it will be higher up in the atmosphere. So where we do get the clouds to break up, the skies may be a little bit hazy today into this evening. But skies ranging partly to mostly cloudy during the day today, warm and breezy. We'll have some cloud cover around tonight, and tomorrow we'll have a little bit of sunshine, but again, some cloudy periods. There may be a passing shower or two. Best chance that's going to be west of I-95 and later on in the day. Slightly better chance for a few showers tomorrow night between about 9 and midnight or so. And then on Monday, we'll have a few showers possible in the morning, but the cold front will bring us a decent chance of some showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon into the evening. And this line of storms could be strong to severe with some damaging wind gusts and some large hail, so we're going to have to keep an eye on that. High temperatures for today, some 70s near the coast, low and mid 80s across central Virginia. Tomorrow, just a few degrees cooler, but still close to 80. We'll be in the upper 70s and low 80s on Monday, and then it turns cooler on Tuesday. Tuesday night into Wednesday morning will be the coldest of the week ahead, some 30s to around 40, but then after that, we're back up to 67 on Wednesday. Low 80s Thursday and Friday with just a slight chance of a shower or two towards the end of the week. Greg.
All right, Mike, thanks so much. 6:44 right now, and then there were 8. Just ahead, a look at March Madness games this weekend, including here on CBS 6, plus the dramatic finish to last night's game that went well into the night. Morning, welcome back. 6:47, Vice President Vance returns to the United States after a historic visit to Greenland. It's the latest push by the Trump administration as it aims to take control of the semi-autonomous Danish territory. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more.
Vice President J.D. Vance and Second Lady Usha Vance landed at Joint Base Andrews in Maryland Friday after traveling to Greenland. He spent more time in the air than on the ground, but still made history as the highest-ranking U.S. official to visit.
We need to ensure that America is leading in the Arctic, because we know that if America doesn't, other nations will fill the gap where we fall behind.
Vance visited U.S. troops at a space base in the island's far northwest, but he wasn't welcomed by Greenland's officials. President Trump has said he wants the U.S. to take control of the territory, something Greenland does not want.
We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can.
Greenland's new prime minister said there needs to be a dialogue with the U.S., and the vice president said he expects there will be a deal.
We do not think that military force is ever going to be necessary. We think we're going to be able to cut a deal, Donald Trump style, to ensure the security of this territory, but also the United States of America.
At the White House, President Trump was also focused on the North. With the U.S. and Canada locked in a trade war over tariffs, he spoke for the first time with Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney.
I've always loved Canada. We had a very good conversation.
We agreed to begin comprehensive negotiations about a new economic and security relationship between our two sovereign countries.
New tariffs against goods from Canada are still set to take effect April 2nd. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Uzan gets it in, gets it back.
Oh man, look at that. A remarkable finish deep into the night. Houston scoring off a perfectly executed inbound play with less than a second to go to top Purdue and become the latest team to punch their ticket to the Elite Eight. And you can find out if March Madness will have a worthy encore this weekend, including right here on CBS 6. The two games this evening can be caught on TBS with number 3 Texas Tech taking on the top-seeded Gators of Florida. After that, Duke and Alabama. They're going to square off in the matchup of the two top teams in the West region. Then we have a doubleheader of our own on Sunday. At around 2:20, the top-seeded Cougars take the court once again with 2-seeded Tennessee. And when that's over, let's say a little bit after 5, the top 2 seeds of the Midwest region battle it out when Auburn takes on Michigan State. The pressure is on. She's one of the most beloved celebrities we have ever witnessed on screen, and now she's set to be immortalized. We're going to tell you where the Postal Service delivered the first stamp design for the legendary Betty White, who needs no introduction. But before we do that, let's give you just a little pause for pets.
Now, from CBS 6, the Weather Authority, meteorologist Mike Stone.
We're getting closer to sunrise here at 6:53 right now. Sun's up at 6:59. We have a mostly cloudy sky outside with temperatures pretty warm. Upper 50s to mid 60s across the region now. We're heading up into the low and mid 80s today. A lot of cloud cover, some sun in there from time to time. It will be breezy. 62 tonight. Tomorrow there could be a shower, mostly west of I-95, but much of the day will be dry for most of us. Still close to 80 on Monday. A good chance of showers and thunderstorms late in the day, and some of those could be severe, a high of 81. A little bit cooler Tuesday and especially Tuesday night, but then after that we're right back into the low 80s. Thursday and Friday for the Squirrels home opener.
Looking delightful, Michael. 6:53 right now. Iconic Golden Girls, Mary Tyler Moore Show, and hot in Cleveland actress Betty White may be smiling at you when your mail arrives.
Yeah, on Thursday, the U.S. Postal Service unveiled its newest first-class Forever stamp, bearing the likeness of the beloved late actress. The stamp celebrates Betty White's career in radio, television, and film, spanning almost 7 decades.
Stamps are these beautiful little chauffeurs that escort our love letters, sympathy cards, birthday wishes, and yes, utility bills out into the world to their destination. I even had one friend tell me that they'll enjoy paying the water bill now because it will give them the chance to use the Betty White stamp. This stamp is special because, let's face it, everybody loves Betty White.
White stamp was first delivered to the Los Angeles Zoo, where the animal lover was a longtime supporter and member of the board. The actress died in 2021 on New Year's Eve, a few weeks shy of her 100th birthday. And my question is, do they come in that size? I would love that Betty White hang at the house.
That would be a great poster. You know, she was once asked, if you weren't, you know, this iconic actress, what would you have liked to have been? And she didn't even pause. She said a zookeeper.
Oh,
she loved animals that much.
That's for sure. Hey, speaking of TV legends, we've got several.
Tons of them.
Yeah, that's right. Set to make their own way at the Convention Center today. And wouldn't you know it, CBS 6 legend herself, Antoinette Essa, is also there. You know what? Antoinette needs her own stamp.
She
Get
does.
in line.
Give Vincent D'Onofrio a hug for me, Antoinette.
She's going to join us live to preview the ongoing GalaxyCon, where that scene is going to change in just a couple of hours.